These are the issues coming around closing a business. The SBA will contact you. They'll want to see what assets you can dispose of to make good on the loan, prepay the loan in full or in part, and remind you that you're still liable for the debt. We get lots of comments on our YouTube videos, and we decided as part of our COVID-versary series of videos to commemorate the pandemic starting in March of 2020, we would respond to some of those comments. Today's comment is from Pet Palace of New City 834. How do we deal with an outstanding EIDL when we have never fully recovered from COVID, and now the state of New York has banned the sale of dogs, cats, and rabbits, which has further killed our business, whereby we cannot fulfill the SBA obligation and may have to close our doors after 30 years of business? First of all, Linda Ray and I are always very sad to hear about the struggles of small businesses, and even worse when it appears that a business is teetering on the edge of failure. First of all, let's talk about we cannot fulfill the SBA obligation and may have to close our doors. Well, if you have to close your doors, the SBA has a process for that. You'll send an email to the SBA. Make sure you include your SBA loan number in the subject line, and you put closing business. And an SBA loan specialist will contact you and discuss things like if there are any business assets that can be sold to make good on the debt, and so forth. If your loan is greater than $200,000, then you've got a personal guarantee aspect, so you should be aware of that. You should consult with an attorney before you speak to the SBA, because there may be issues around closing the business and then you are being personally held liable for the loan. In addition, while you're speaking to an attorney, you should consider filing business bankruptcy if your business is formed as a formal organization. You don't indicate here if this is, a partnership on a Schedule C or if it is a formally organized business like an LLC or an LLP or a corporation. If you have the protection of a corporate shield, then you should consult with an attorney about filing bankruptcy. As a special note, this is not legal advice. We are not attorneys, so please do not misconstrue this information as legal advice. This is our suggestion based upon the fact that I found multiple videos here on YouTube from bankruptcy attorneys who have said that the COVID EIDL can absolutely be included in a bankruptcy proceeding. And the reason you want to speak to an attorney if your loan is greater than $200,000 with a personal guarantee feature, or if you are a sole proprietor with no formal business protection, which means the loan responsibility is completely in your personal name, you should have that conversation about possibly having to file a personal bankruptcy. As I mentioned in my loan authorization and agreement video, which you can watch by clicking here, I talk about how when you communicate with the SBA in a situation like this, they're going to sound like they're coming at you hard. Be aware that there are severe penalties if you default on the loan, and we could seize tax return refunds, and we can seize Social Security. They're required by regulation to make those statements to you. We do know that in a defaulted loan situation that we have already seen it, where the U.S. Treasury, acting as a collection agency for the Small Business Administration, has seized Social Security payments, tax refunds, payments to government contractors paid directly by the federal government to that company, and medical businesses that received Medicaid or Medicare payments that were seized. There is a real possibility that either now or further down the line in a defaulted loan situation that they could attempt to do that, which is why we encourage you to have this conversation with an attorney about closing your business. The other element here, which really I want to say that this has something more to do with advice we give on our other YouTube channel called Simple Sense for Small Business. And in that channel, we talk about all the boring and mundane stuff that folks don't really want to pay attention to often. I mean, really boring stuff about running a business. We don't do the glamorous stuff about, how to get rich quick and, invest in this cyber stock and, buy this accounting software and form your LLC in 12 seconds. No. We talk about the really mundane stuff, like how do you transmit the message of a culture in your business to your team? How do you screen out prospective customers who are going to make you crazy and have a better experience dealing with people who will actually buy your stuff and understand your value? And a series of videos about how to find an attorney, hire an attorney, how to find a CPA, the difference between a certified public accountant, CPA, and a regular tax accountant. There is a massive difference. And most people don't want to pay the higher fees for a CPA, which in our opinion is a big mistake. Click on over to Simple Sense of Small Business, because over there we also talk about things like marketing, things like pivots. Linda Ray and I, in our business 5 years ago this month, we had to pivot. We had a small commercial financing brokerage, which COVID put us out of business and said, the banks said to us, on March 17th and March 18th, 2020, we're not lending until this thing is over. And we had a substantial book of business for loans that were in process that we would have been paid commissions for when they were approved and closed. We had to pivot. Thankfully, one of our clients told us about the COVID EIDL program, and that's why we're here today with the expertise we derived out of starting to do that pivot in March, April, and May of 2020. Pivoting your business is your best option if you want to maintain your income and your ownership of your livelihood, and you don't want to work for somebody else. Good friend of ours, Jen, who is a banker here in Connecticut, once said to us over lunch one day, she said, I meet lots of small business owners who complain about things like regulations and paying taxes and fees and all this stuff. And, they're like, I don't know if this business is sustainable if I keep going. And she says to them every time, she says, well, ask yourself this question. Can I have the kind of control and the kind of life and the kind of sense of independence that I have as a small business owner if I'm working for somebody else? Wow. That says it all. And in this case, with this pet store in New York, before you close your business, what is it you're going to do for the remainder of your life? I don't know how old you are. You indicate here you're 30 years in business, but it could possibly mean you're only in your 50s, right? If you started the business in your 20s. And so there has to be a reckoning with what you're going to do to earn a livelihood going forward. And it is very easy to complain about the issues around your business not recovering from the pandemic. It's very easy to complain about this loan obligation you have with the SBA for a COVID loan, which saved your business during the pandemic. Just as a reminder, because had you not gotten this loan, you probably would have failed as a business during the pandemic 5 years ago. But you've got to have this reckoning and this severely honest conversation with yourself about what is it I'm going to do if I close this business. So you want to be very careful. I literally told you I was recording. Wow, you look fantastic. No, don't go far. Stay right here because we're going to record video. I'm just about done. So let me go back to that brutally honest conversation you need to have with yourself. And in this case, you say we. So obviously there is a business partner or partners. So closing the business is a viable option, and filing bankruptcy to discharge the debt so you are not obligated for the COVID EIDL is a conversation you want to have with an attorney. And as with everything SBA, there is a procedure and a form for how the SBA will, work with you in terms of closing your business. We can't tell you in this video how to manage that. That's why we created the EIDL Resource Hub, which you can purchase by clicking on the link in the description that has specific, easy to understand step-by-step instructions, plus templates and the SBA forms you'll need to use so that you can be prepared if that's the strategy you're going to undertake. If you found this video helpful, would you please like and subscribe? And remember, we're doing a series of videos for COVIDiversary. So make sure you subscribe and hit the bell so you get notified when the next videos drop. Thanks for tuning in.